friends, welcome to day 10. On day 10, we are going to embellish the V and go ahead and do the flower that's growing up right in the center here. So that involves the herringbone stitch, which we will tack down with a couching stitch. We'll do a straight stitch for the stem. We'll do some detached chain stitches, but they are vertical. Instead of being leaves that kind of go up in a V, they're going to go ahead and go straight out in contrast to the shape of the V. And then we're going to add some pistil stitches up here. So if those are stitches you're familiar with, like usual, you can go ahead. But before you do, I want to show everyone how I marked the herringbone stitches. So you can mark with the pencil if you can see it on your orange. I'm going to use the blue Choco pencil because that one I know I will be able to see on my peach, bright orange, whatever color the thread or you want to call this. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my two lines down each side. So one right there, one right here. This may be an old pen. I may have to get a different one. Oh, we can see them well enough. Okay, same thing on this side. Mark my lines. And then if we turn this, I'm using the on the line templates, and I use them for spacing. It turns out I use them all the time for spacing. So now I'm going to turn it so that it is 90 degrees to the lines, and then I'm going to draw each of these lines across here. Same thing on this side. Again, this is an old pen, I can tell, because my lines aren't very bright here. Sorry about that. Okay, that puts the marks so that they're evenly spaced for my stitching. You don't have to pre-mark, you can just wing it, but especially where we're going to have the white and the green crossing each other on this one, that will help to keep those even distance apart. Okay, we'll see you in the next video for the herringbone stitch. Hi friends, we are ready for the herringbone stitch. I have used my blue Choco pens repeatedly in the last 3 weeks as we've gone to shows, like hundreds and hundreds of times. And I am not very good at getting rid of them when they start to get dull or marking them a different way. So I went back and got a different pen, as you can see, and I remarked these a little bit better so that you could see them. So the herringbone stitch, let's start with the variegated green thread. And this stitch is kind of like awkward cross stitches. So it actually, let's look at the picture. At these spots where my lines cross right here, I'm actually going to stitch on both sides of that. I'll go in here and out there. I'll go in across here and out there. And you can either do one green and then one white and then one green and then one white, but I think that's a recipe for tangling. So I just went through and made sure that every time it went down this way, I was on top. But I'll show you what I mean. So we are going to come out just a little bit above the spot right here on the corner where they cross, just a little bit, as if we had taken a little bite out of that spot. Okay, now we're going to come down to this next one. I think I'll turn it this way so that I can see. We're going to cross over to the other side, and we don't want to get that line that we marked in the center. We want to go just on one side of it, in on one side, out on the other side. And because we need it to cross, there we go, there's our cross. Now up here to the next one, there's our line. Let's mark that line a little bit better. There you go, now you can see that a little bit better. And again, I'm on the outside lines I did, but I'm going in one side, in the far side, out the close side, down here, in on the far side, back on the close side, out here, in on the far side, back on the close side, here, in on the far side, back on the close side. And then this last one, I would go in on the far side, and that's kind of where the edge of my fabric is. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in at the edge of my fabric. Okay, so that is one side with the herringbone stitch done, and that in and of itself is the herringbone stitch. This one is actually a double herringbone because we're going to go back and do the same thing on the opposite side with white. So again, I'm going to start a little bit before, there we go, a little bit before the line where they cross. Now, I mentioned that when I do this, rather than trying to tangle my threads, so when I head up on this one, well, up in orientation to where I have it now, I'm going to make sure white's on the top. So again, just past the line to just before the line. But the opposite direction, I want the green thread to be on top. So just tuck your thread underneath. Okay, now again, we're going to go to the opposite side. Back to a little bit before. And this time the white's going to be on top. Remember, we're alternating, so it looks like we wove it as we stitched it. So go a little bit past the line to a little bit before the line. This one's supposed to be under, so we're going to go under. Notice how I lead with the eye of my needle because that one won't catch any threads. It's not sharp enough to catch any threads. Past the line to before the line. Going this direction, we go over. Past the line to before the line. And in this case, this is where this one will meet right down here in the corner. So we need to go under. And when I set these lines up initially, I set them up so that they would just meet right here. Okay, that is the herringbone stitch. Now we're going to follow that stitch with just couching it down. Remember, couching is just tacking something down. And so I just did little straight stitches right here on each one of these little X's to hold it in place. You don't have to couch it down. I just thought it looked cool with another color in there. Okay, that is the herringbone stitch. See you next time. Hi friends, we are going to work on pistil stitches next. Pistil stitches, in a nutshell, are a French knot where you don't go down at the same place that you came out. So I'm going to go ahead and when I did this, I wanted them to be centered, so I started with the one in the center. You'll notice that I have not finished my stitches around my little blue flower up here. That's because I'm trying to stay caught up and get these videos done. Okay, so French knot. Thread comes towards you. Make an X, go around the top 1, 2, 3. In this case, I think I didn't wrap them that many times because I didn't want that fat a knot. So let's just wrap twice, okay? And then instead of going back down right where we came out, we're going to jump up here where we want the edge of our little pistil stitch to be. Okay, now that the thread's gone in, remember now you have two hands again and you can snug it up. Now this makes a difference in a pistil stitch. If you hold it off to this side, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see that, then it will kind of curl to the right. If I were to wrap it the opposite direction, it would curl it to the left. If I hold it straight up this way, it's a little bit more straight. If you hold it back the way you came, that is the best way to get a straight pistil stitch. So we're going to snug it up, but as we're going down through, we're going to keep it pulled in that direction. And that is the best way to get a pistil stitch that looks like a lollipop, straight up and on top. Now this next one that I'm going to do, I actually did the outside one next. 2 wraps, make an X over the top 1, over the top 2. Now this one, I kind of want it to tip to the outside. So I'm going to go ahead this time, instead of pulling it back the way I came, I'm going to go ahead and pull it off to this side so that it will give me that curl that direction. Snug it up and pull it through. And I think the one in between, I'm going to try and go ahead and make it a lollipop one too. Okay, so towards me, wrap 1, wrap 2, go down right up here, pull it back the direction that you came in the first place, and that will give you the lollipop shaped pistil stitch. So that, my friends, is how you do pistil stitches. You can play around with which direction you're wrapping and which direction you hold it to go down in to get different looks. Oftentimes when I'm working on an antenna for a bug, and then I'll wrap one direction and hold it that way, and I'll wrap the other one. Instead of going cross it and go over the top, I cross it and go under the bottom, then it'll curl the opposite way, and you can play around with pistil stitches to get what you want. Okay, we will see you tomorrow.